As always, it's an FTP Friday. That stands for Fuck the Packers. And I do not own the rights to this music.
Here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Body by Jeremy Smokin.
All right, it's Lions Man Cave Chat. I have Eric Sean. I have Dan Leonard with his special message for the Cowboy faithful, and Big Dan Davis here. How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good. Pretty damn good. Hell yeah.
Amazing. I'm still on this other side of the dirt. All right.
That being said, we had 9 players who did not play on Wednesday, 6 who did not play on Thursday, down to 5, and those guys are ruled out. I think it was Charles Harris, Ife Melifamu, DJ Shark, Matt Nelson, and who was the 5th?
Bobby Price.
Bobby Price. Next man up.
Yes, sir.
Kirby Joseph, for 100 snaps, is the highest rated rookie safety.
Yes,
at
sir.
a 71.1. Oh, we got a comment that just came in. Brian Roy says, hi, boys.
What's up, Brian?
And Victor Lesser says, I will be in Dallas in 2 days, saying the same thing, Dan.
Damn right. Poop on the star.
And who is trending towards playing is DeAndre Swift, John Kaminsky, which thank God, because we've missed him on the interior of that D-line. Also, Josh Paschal is set to make his debut, and according to what I read on Twitter, Jerry Jacobs as well.
Yes.
Good. We need that inside help.
And I think all of that's going to help our defense immensely because Josh Paschal is that run-stuffing DN/DT we need. Isaiah Buggs, Aleem McNeil, and Kaminsky all do a fine job with what they do, but it does not hurt to have him on there. Hopefully we can make Michael Brockers a cheerleader to stand on the sidelines.
I hope what Aaron Glenn said is true and that we move Hutch around that defense due to these returns.
We needed enough DNs healthy to be able to do it. That's why you didn't see it get done. With Charles Harris getting hurt, they couldn't have Harris on the D-line and Hutch at linebacker at the time. Then,
good point.
You know, Brockers, and they haven't been utilizing Austin Bryan enough since he started doing good in weeks 1 and 2. I don't know why his snap count went down from 20% to 12%, but that makes no sense to me.
Yeah, Austin Bryan should definitely be in there more often. I'm dumbfounded why he hasn't been.
So what do you think of the injury news there, Sean? Eric Sean?
Well, Harris is still questionable. He was actually got hurt.
He's officially ruled out. Charles Harris is out. Will Harris is questionable.
Right. Yeah. All right.
Dan, what do you think about that injury news for the Lions?
I'm excited to see
Leonard.
Okay.
Trying to go around the horn here.
All right.
It's good to see that not as many guys are out. Kaminsky's back should help out, make Hutch and them maybe get home this time.
Right, because that's the last time any of them were hitting home with any consistency. Kaminsky was in the lineup. And now, Dan Davis?
Yeah, I'm glad to see. I'm highly interested to see what Josh Paschal can do. I think he'll help our defense out. Kaminsky back, he'll help others get some sacks, and he'll do well himself. So I'm happy to see all these guys back. I think our defense will be a smidge better.
Will it be enough to slow down Zeke and Pollard? That's the question.
I hope so. I mean, we can only hope, right? I mean,
I just want to at least force a couple of punts.
Well,
Right.
you know what the bad part is? We did force 2 punts on New England. We punted the ball twice ourselves. We should have punted 4 times.
yeah.
Yep.
4th and 9 and 4th and 19. Why the hell are you going for it?
I hate to say it, but I'm starting to question Dan Campbell's decision making.
John Doe says, "Hey, yo, Lions family. Good to see you, John Doe."
What's up,
And
John?
Vic Lester says, "Elliott's overrated. Pollard is the one we need to stop." Well, lately, Elliott's been quietly getting better every game.
Yeah, but once
Is it?
that,
Yes, and Lamb. But, you know, if we don't give Dak Prescott the time to throw the ball, we don't have to worry about CD Lamb.
right. But Elliott doesn't do well with Prescott playing.
I know. Prescott tends to play hero ball lately.
Stuck with the backup quarterback. They're doing far better.
And as much as I hate to say it, 4 out of the 5 weeks, you heard announcers at every game say the same thing.
Prescott.
Pay attention, Prescott. This is how you read a defense. Keep
So
the same energy as Commanders, and you ain't got to worry about nothing. Absolutely, I agree. We need to come out with that type of intensity and fire again. I think this bye week came at the perfect time. We hit a low, the lowest of lows we've seen since the Seahawks game last year. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we went toe-to-toe with a team that scored 48 points with us and got within 3. We probably should have won it because the one score came after that weird time clock debacle.
yeah.
But that being said, we were close to being 4-1 versus being 1-4.
Our defense just needs to be decent. We ain't got a lot of talent, shit ton of injuries, you know.
Well, we're less injured than we were. That's the important part. We
Right.
don't have a shit ton of injuries. We have a few. It sucks losing Levi on Wuzuriki for the season, but anybody that wants to call him a bust, he hasn't played 3 seasons. You have to play 3 seasons before you're labeled a bust. He hasn't played at all this season. He's played 14 games, but those were limited due to the back injury then, and he had to have surgery to repair it. That tells you how bad it was.
Right. I just wish the guy well, and I want to see him get healthy and be able to have a career and play well, you know?
Yes. If he gets healthy and comes back and shows promise and shows what we were looking for, then he's not a bust. Correct?
David,
Agreed. Yes.
but I do have one comment to say to that. Well, 2 actually. 2 names I want to say to that. Ryan Leaf, Justin Fields.
Well, you can't really label Justin Fields a bust yet. You can call him Bustin' Fields because he's getting broken behind that O-line.
He's a bust.
Yeah.
Well,
They didn't do anything. They didn't do anything to help him there. I mean, they really didn't get him enough wide receiver help. He's got Darnell Mooney and a cast of practice squad guys.
Most of his wide
And he's
receivers
only a
went to,
second-year QB.
a couple of his wide receivers went to jail in the offseason. I mean, goddamn, like,
Well, they're back playing, though. So
yeah.
there's that. My
Hey, nobody
next,
lets a guy go to jail in the offseason. Come on, that's the norm around here.
some of them go to jail in the in season. Did you guys hear the latest about Deshaun Watson?
I have not.
He was pulled over back in July doing 97 in a 40-mile-an-hour zone in Sandusky, Ohio.
Damn.
try to do? Like get to Cedar Point when they open?
Pascal is playing, Lester. The next topic I have for us is Dan Campbell mentions Sheila's frustration with the record. Does this make you feel better knowing the owner actually cares about the record of the team?
Makes me feel better because she's in there like, hey, I want to see you guys do better. She's holding them guys accountable. It's an owner that cares.
Well, John Doe, there is still hope, but a lot of those bad teams are looking better than we thought they were, namely the two New York teams and the Jaguars. But the Jaguars have just dropped 3 straight, so they're kind of coming back to earth, while Tennessee has won 3 straight and catching up with them. I want Indy to beat them, but maybe Tennessee wins this weekend. Who knows? Because they are at home. Dan Leonard, how does that make you feel hearing that about Sheila Hamp?
Well, see, my jury's still out on it. Like, I like the fact that she said something, but when she gets out there and like she says, like goes public, calls somebody out in the media or something like that, or just randomly walks up to somebody, then I'll know she cares like more about it. You know what I mean?
Well, she is given the benefit of the doubt in the second year of a rebuild. And I get it. You got to admit, our team didn't look that good. We said where the weaknesses are, and it's been proven they're the weaknesses. The defense, if the running game isn't going, and they're not utilizing the play action enough, in my opinion, because the running game's been going every game. We had over 100 yards against New England.
Yep.
And Stephen King comes in and says, guys, Eric, how does that make you feel about Sheila?
I'm going to tell you right now, what I think about Sheila, she's done one thing none of the Ford family has ever done, is have a closed-door meeting, and then the coach actually came out. She didn't come out and say, the coach said, I had a meeting, and he was actually very somber about it. 97 won the ticket, it's like I have another year. That's not what I grasped from that. Matter of fact, it's kind of like, if you don't meet expectations, I'm going to toss you to the curb.
Oh.
And like that, for one.
There he is, Big Dom.
Sorry, Gauntlet ran a little late.
I kind of figured as much. I wasn't worried. I knew you'd be here. My first topic was we had 9 players who did not practice on Wednesday, 6 that did not practice on Thursday, down to 5, and they are ruled out. That's Iffy, Bobby Price, Matt Nelson, Charles Harris, and DJ Shark. DJ Shark, it's not due to his injury, though. DJ Shark, his kid was just born.
Oh. But he's also in a walking boot, isn't he?
He is, but it's more about his kid and family right now.
That's fair.
But Taylor Decker's baby, who's actually healthy, is playing this weekend. He came back and did a full practice. Frank Ragnell had a full practice. Amon-Ra St. Brown had full practice all week. DeAndre Swift, John Kaminsky, Josh Pascal, and from what I read on Twitter from Jerry Jacobs' account, he's trending towards playing.
Nice.
And John Doe said, does anyone have any idea how many draft picks we get next year? As it stands right now, it looks like we have 7 because we still have one that went to Denver this year. Correct?
2. We got 2 first-rounders. That's awesome.
Right, but we don't have a later pick is what I was saying. I can't remember if it's the 6th round or the 7th round that went for Benson, too.
We definitely don't have the 7th. We have 2 6th-round picks, though.
So then we have 8.
Yes.
We have 8 picks. And Brian, John Doe asked, do you trade Swift for a better player? Right now, no. Right now, Swift, while he's been healthy, has been amazing. I mean, I understand his trade value's there, but this is a contract year, and lo and behold, if we let him walk and he has a good year, we get at least 2 picks for him. the following year, which would help cement keeping it going with the extra picks going forward. Does anybody else agree with that?
100%. I mean,
like if we totally bomb this game coming up and DeAndre Swift does absolutely nothing and somebody offers us something decent like a second and a fifth or a first and a fifth or a sixth, hell yeah, you make the trade.
He's still on his rookie deal though, right?
Right. That's the thing, and he's a second round pick, which the dead cap's nowhere near as heavy as if it would be if he was a first.
I mean, I would ride it out and then maybe think about trading him at the deadline. What do you think about those Cam Akers rumors?
Oh, I'm pretty sure they're not just a rumor. He's hitting the trade block.
I would love Cam Akers.
Why, you need another running back that's made of glass?
Yeah, I would say he hasn't exactly been the fit picture of health either.
He's got what? He's recovering from an ACL, right? Something like that.
He recovered from the ACL, came back and played in the playoffs, and he didn't have to require surgery, but he re-injured it in that Super Bowl, and he hasn't looked the same since.
Yeah.
True. I mean, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Regardless of what happens with Swift, I would be just fine next year going in with Williams, Reynolds, and Jackson.
Well, we'd have to re-sign Williams, too.
That's fine.
This is the last year of Williams' contract. In all actuality, I'd be fine with Reynolds and Justin Jackson.
I just took a shot.
It's also depending on if Williams wants to come back here, too.
Exactly, because if it's another bad season, he may not have the heart to play another year like that. That's something none of us have really considered.
True.
Because he did say that shit sucked last year. You remember all the big speech at the end of the first episode of Hard Knocks? He talked about it. He goes, that should make you angry. That should make you want to fucking play harder, right?
If this team continues to regress and we continue to struggle and lose, I don't think Swaggy comes back next year.
That's basically what I was saying. And then the other topic that we were just talking about, Dom, was Dan Campbell mentioned Sheila's frustration with the record. Does this make you feel better knowing the owner cares?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I would say out of any of the last, if you go back to Lopan, he never gave a shit.
Right.
Then the son, like, kind of, sort of, but he just got handed the keys.
Martha just didn't know what the fuck she was doing.
Right, but she was at least smart enough to try to put some people in position.
Right.
Martha was clueless.
I mean, I've been all in on Sheila since she dropped the name Ford from her last name.
Exactly. That's where I am with her. That being said,
Swaggy's still only 27.
Yeah, so.
Because I didn't get a reaction from what I stated before, Donkey.
Oh.
Sheila, statement, a lot of people are like, oh, as if Dan Campbell got, a guaranteed third year. Like, no, it's not. I got all the statement. Like, she's concerned where it's going. I wouldn't be shocked if Dan Campbell's fired at the end of the year if shit doesn't change.
Mm-hmm. And this was my issue from the beginning.
See, but I don't think they will get rid of him after 2 years. Will they get rid of the defensive coordinator? More than likely.
If we're 2-15,
but it's not because of the offense. I mean, you look at it; it's the defense 100%.
I'm saying the way how somber that Dan Campbell actually was in the interview, like other people read it wrong. Like he was like, "Well, we had a meeting," and like not Dan Campbell's normal like upbeat thing. It's kind of a sad.
Okay, let's see.
Basically got from it
I understand. I mean, I saw it too, But I don't think his seat's as warm as everybody else does. I mean, it didn't sound like it. It just sounded like he was frustrated with the whole meeting because she's frustrated. And,
If
you
they're
know,
2-15 at the end of it, I think he might actually go.
I don't think so. I don't think so. And I'll tell you, we still ate over $25 million in cap space this year in dead cap. You know, we didn't have a lot of money to go out and really build a team in 1 year.
I understand that. That's not where I was going. But 2-15, that would put.
If it's 2-15 and the offense is still clicking like it has been, getting over 320 yards per game, it's not the offense, which is what Dan Campbell's strong suit is. It's the defense. That means that the defense has to change. I still say changing to the 4-2-5 when it took them 13 weeks to get the 3-4 right was a bad decision.
Yes, I agree.
For one, there's absolutely no way that we only win 2 games.
Yeah, there's always a chance. You guys did go a season where you won no games, so there's always a fucking snowball chance.
Yeah, there is, but I don't think that it'll happen.
But the other thing is, and I said this way back then, it's never a good idea to hire a GM and a head coach separately.
Right.
And the more the losses pile up, the more the finger pointing and the infighting is going to start.
Right.
And if we only win 2 games, then goddamn it, yeah, you should be fired.
Right. But Joseph Hope says, "Hi, Jeremy. How's it going? Going great there, Joseph. We really should be 3-2, in my opinion. I think we should be 4-1. All 3 of the 4 games we lost were very winnable.
And now, looky, what I said, different reasons, same result. All of a sudden, it looks pretty likely that we're going to lose to the Jets and the Giants.
Right.
I'm with that. We'll lose to both of those teams, so defense sucks.
That being said, these 4th down calls have to stop, panel. Absolutely. I mean, we can't be that aggressive every time. We had just signed an 80% kicker, and we never used him. And 4 of those 4th down calls should have been field goal attempts at a minimum.
Right, but part of what that is, yes, it's over aggressive, but it's also a lack of faith in your defense, and understandably so.
Right, but if you get the field goal and you got to kick off and you're making them drive longer down the field, they're less likely to score.
I know Dan Campbell won't do it, but I want Aaron Glenn shit canned or demoted ASAP.
I know you do. I like Sheila because she had the gall to fire Quinn and Patricia in season. Absolutely.
Should have fired them at the end of the season, but we always do that.
Would like us to run the 4-3 defense? No, I want us to go back to what was working at the end of the season.
Sorry, my bad.
We ran a 3-4 under last season. It took them 13 weeks to start getting it right before we finally started to win games after Lynn was gone. And we won more than we lost. We were 3-2-1 in those 6 games.
Yeah, why would he change our defense when that was successful with our roster being basically the same as last year with our new draft picks, and we do like dumb stuff. Like Aaron Donald is our biggest problem, but like I said, Sheila Ford, like I wanted to actually talk about her, is that she's doing things so much differently than the Fords did before.
It's no longer Sheila Ford, though. It's Sheila Hamp.
Right.
We don't have the personnel to run 3-4.
You mean 4-3?
Correct, man. This is like pronoun correction. But anyways, like
that.
Sheila is doing things right, and that she actually wants to win.
Right. That's
William Clay, and everybody else before that, like, oh, we'll fill in the stadiums. We don't care. It doesn't matter. And that's what my point was. She would. I honestly think she would actually fire Dan if we went 2-15. Would I expect us to go 2-15? No, of course. And would I blame him for going 2-15? No. The only thing that was left in the Lions cupboard after Quinn Trasha was basically a can of spotted. Simple as that. We had nothing.
I know. We've talked about that at nauseum. I wasn't going to go into all that. What I'm saying is if we're 2-15 because the defense sucks, not the offense, they won't get rid of Campbell.
Right,
Yeah.
but then we get in, because this is what I was going to ask. What do you think the floor for wins is for him to keep his job?
4.
Yeah, he has to have some type of improvement.
Yeah, 2-15 is actually going to cost me.
I know it's a regression, but if it's because of the defense, that you can't pin it on Dan Campbell.
I agree with you. I'm not.
But you are. You already said if we go that, but I'm saying if the offense is scoring all those points and we're still losing, it's not the offense, which is his forte, correct?
Yes,
Well,
forte.
I don't think Dan Campbell's getting fired this year. I think he gets at least one more year, probably into the next year. And if this team is still struggling, if he's still making poor decisions, then they might do it. But he's not getting fired anytime soon.
I mean, there's a reason they gave him a 6-year contract and Brad Holmes a 5.
I still need to see those 7 wins this year.
If we're 2-15, he's still making the same bad decisions. He will be gone.
He needs to cut down on that riverboat frickin' gambler.
Wait. I'm trying to address it. I sit there. I specifically said if the offense is still humming and scoring a buttload of points, but we're losing because of the defense, he won't be fired. Mark it.
I kind of disagree there. Guys, let me say this real quick. Stop cutting me off. Who's cutting me off?
They're not.
Dan's been trying to talk too. He's tried to chime in. Leonard.
Now, real quick on this. Granted, he's an offensive guy and the defense is the problem. If this team keeps struggling like this and he does not come out during season and fire Aaron Glenn and publicly demote him, then they go that low. He deserves to be fired because he didn't make the steps right there to address that issue earlier.
I understand that.
Exactly.
He's already talked about that. He does not fire coaches in season. He's said this repeatedly last year.
Statement.
But he did demote him. What I'm saying is if he goes out there and Aaron Glenn pitches another pooper, he probably will be demoted after this game because he can't wait that long.
He can't. He should be shit can him right there.
Then why even demote him? Just fire him.
Exactly.
Much like if we end the season with,
listen to this. Joseph Host didn't even listen to a word I said. We had a roster that was running a 3-4 successfully at the end of the season. So therefore, you don't switch the fucking scheme. A 4-3 is switching the scheme. A 4-2-5 is switching the scheme. The 3-4 is the base defense. Is what we have the personnel for because we kept 70% of that freaking roster.
Yes, sir, Jeremy. I agree with you 100%. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Aaron just doesn't have the personnel to do what he needs to be done. He doesn't have the personnel to run that defense, that 4-2-5. We don't have great middle linebackers. We don't have great safeties. That's what's needed in that.
They ran the 4-2-5 by default because we didn't have enough good or healthy linebackers to run a 4-3. How you go from 3-4 to 4-2-5 is beyond me, but
right. But they use DNs as the outside linebackers just like they do in every other 3-4 defense. That's what I'm getting at. We have 12 guys on the defensive line. Yes, granted, 10 of them have been healthy for the most part. 8 the last game. It still would have been enough to run the 3-4. It's not enough to run the 4-2-5. Because the only true linebackers are the off-ball linebackers.
There's 2 teams in the NFL right now that run a successful.
Yeah, but there's like 10 teams that run the 4-2-5, and every team uses the 4-2-5 sparingly as a dime package.
Exactly. But we run it explicit.
Right, we're running an explicit 4-2-5, and it's being exposed because it's not good against the run. The Bills actually added the personnel to their 4-2-5 to make the run game successful because they added another valid linebacker next to Matt Milano, and they added safety help.
Yeah, and which we don't have. So it's kind of like having Stevie Wonder being your security guard at a presidential debate.
Week 10 should be the breaking point potentially for Aaron Glenn.
I think it should be this week.
Yep. Yeah. Don't come on the bye week. Successful. Gone. Bye, bitch.
Well, he's not going to be fired. I know what he's going to do.
The Cowboys' offense is pretty good, as is the Dolphins and the Packers. But if you get to that Bears game and you don't hold them around what they're averaging, like if you let the Bears hang 28 points on you, I don't care what Dan Campbell's philosophy is, you fucking fire Aaron Glenn.
And not only that, look at the Green Bay Packers.
Good.
They're not averaging 28 points a game.
Or this, just keep Dan Campbell till Aaron Glenn till week 13.
No.
I give Aaron Glenn till at the latest after that Miami game at home. If we drop 30 or more to them, he should be gone.
Joseph Host, we know it's not working. Wait, he says it's not working. We need a major play. It's not working because they changed the fucking scheme. Why don't you understand? I agree with that, but we got to go back to what was working with the roster we have because that's who we have the personnel for.
Oh, surprise. Galladay's out this week.
170 points, worse than the NFL, was already his resume. If he doesn't do anything better this week, bye, bitch. Simple as that.
Well, we kind of got to get off the cussing here. It's getting over rampant.
Sorry.
But we understand it's not working. The 4-2-5 is not working. We have said this repeatedly, week after week after week.
Even with a fully healthy team, I don't think we do much better with it.
No. We're a 3-4 defense running a bad scheme.
And especially considering that the two linebackers are, one is Alex Anzalone, who would not start on 30 other teams.
I say about 27.
And the other one is a sixth round pick.
Who would start on any of those teams?
He's the head coach.
Any 3-4 or 4-2-5 defense? Yes, he'd start on it.
Which is sad. Anzalone's
But Anzalone actually has looked good this year and would start on a lot of teams.
I like Rodrigo, but part of the reason he has such big numbers as a rookie, a lot of it is just based off snap count.
Rodrigo is actually the highest graded rookie linebacker according to PFF right now. So
right,
that's good.
He's solid, but he's not a game changer.
No, again, that goes to the talent around him in a bad scheme. Does it not?
Right.
Sweet.
And honestly, unless we get to those 7 wins or at least 6, you fire Campbell. If he only gets 5 wins, fired.
But the good news is they are talking about making Aiden Hutchinson more upright this week. Aaron Glenn even said he is, which is where he was successful with Michigan.
You got to find a way to get him involved. I think Kaminsky coming back and
Paschal. That's what gets him off the D-line. We haven't had the personnel to get him off the D-line as a starter.
I've said this 1,000 times before. If you go back and look
There's
at
a
how
bank
Hutch,
account that didn't get removed. I have Hutchinson at LB all week. So why didn't they change the defense that worked in the past for the Patriots game? I don't know, Joseph Host. I'm not in the locker room. I'm not there asking these questions. I'm trying to work on that.
what I was going to say is, if you go back and look at how Hutch was used at Michigan, he was best used when he was moved all around the defense.
He actually was more productive once he played more linebacker than D-line.
Yes, I agree.
Right. And why is that? Because he's undersized strictly as a D end.
Yes.
Oh yeah, look at this. This is how you know it's a fake account. Paschal will also play safety a little.
Hey, need a thumper out in the second.
When you keep Hutch in one spot, he's easy to key in on and double team and shit like that, and
you notice
he's easy to stop.
That Alex. I doubt that, Aaron Glenn.
And especially with a cardboard cutout of an actual football player named Michael Brockers next to him.
Right. I mean, that's the biggest thing. We haven't had the personnel to be able to take Brockers out of the starting rotation. Now we're starting to get that again with the people coming back healthy.
Well, yeah, that's what cracks me up. Like, Hutch has been like
he has 10 more pressures than the next rookie D lineman.
Right. But he also, it happened in the second half of the watch. He was kind of like limping. He's dealing with an injury that.
No, it was a thigh bruise. It was a thigh bruise, man.
Exactly. So, yeah.
He's over Hutch.
He also over pursues. Rookies do that. They do that because they're so excited to be in the team.
Just talking football, Dad. He came in and said, "What up?"
Normal.
Brian Lloyd, do you think they'll go back to a 3-4 week if Hutch is back there and Rodriguez and Barnes? I'm off my nut. Let me know, please. I don't think Barnes is a capable linebacker right now unless they put him to the outside and use him as a missile. God, I hope not. Hey, guys, telling you right now, no punting this game either. 4th and 19 draw play to Swift. That's so stupid.
Gets the Kevin Gilbride offense right there.
I like this. Tyler Black says, "Hey, Glenn, go back to the 3-4 defense."
Yeah.
That is technically what we need to do. I agreed with adding 4-man fronts. I agreed to it, but I thought it was because they were going to keep the base defense and work the 4-2-5 more in the dime situation, like every other team does.
Wait, did we trade down in the 3rd round this past year, or that was one of the picks we gave up for JMO?
We packaged the 32nd, the 46th, and the 66th.
Okay, so that's where that pick went.
Or the 32nd, 34th, and 66th to move up to get JMO, and we got the 46th back too. That's how we got Paschal.
Even if we wouldn't have made that trade, according to what Brad Holmes said in an interview, he was going to take Paschal at 32 anyways. So.
Right. And who's Coach Campbell's assistant head coach? It's Deuce Staley, the running backs coach. That should tell you right there. Everybody says, "Oh, Aaron Glenn could be a head coach anywhere." I don't think they're saying that now.
We thought that.
Yeah, definitely not now.
All right. Now let's talk about the keys to victory. Number 1, get pressure. Number 2, stop the run. That's it. That's all we have to do. Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
That's too easy.
That sounds too easy, but it is that easy. If you force them to be one-dimensional with Dak Cousins throwing the ball,
I think if our
Just call
off
him Dak Cousins.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. That's why I was laughing.
if our offense can score 35 to 40, which I think they're capable of, we can definitely win this game.
And Tyler Black says, "Hey Dan, take the points." Absolutely.
And actually use our kicker.
That's what he's talking about. That's what he's talking about. Take the points. Now, unless you're 4th and 1 on the goal line, I agree with going for it there because you could end up with the same situation you had when we got the safety versus the Commanders.
Yeah, hand the ball.
Number 3, block Micah Parsons. You know what? Everybody talks about that, but you know what? He's only had, 6 sacks in 6 games?
And he also didn't do dick in that game against Philly until Lane Johnson got hurt.
Right. Until the backup came in. I'm not as worried about that.
Philly also had the game plan to attack him, which is smart in my opinion, but
you're right. But I'm putting St. Brown at running back like Debo. Oh, Jesus Christ. I might have to put those fake accounts in timeout. I don't mind him being in that split end sweep that he does. I don't mind him being used that way and the gadget play because it works. Fake to DeAndre Swift. He comes around, give him the ball, let him run around the edge because he's done it very well. Has he not?
Let me see something.
What's killing me is Jameson Williams practicing. But
Yeah.
we don't have a
He's still not ready to play, they're saying. So I don't mind as long as if the medical staff he says he's not ready, I'm good with that.
supposedly scared. But
I know. But I'd rather him be fully healthy than play him at 80% and have him get injured and be out for the year.
right. I agree. But I wouldn't mind, okay, one play.
I like your coaching as much as an enema.
Never should have. I mean, I don't know who. I can't say for sure who we should have taken there instead, but
Split is a good play. Yep.
Never should have drafted Jameson Williams.
Nope. Devin Lloyd.
Yeah, that's who I was hoping we were getting.
That's who we all
same here.
Have this conversation next year. Apparently, that's
like already being, short on talent on defense, and the very little money that you had in free agency, you spent mostly on offense.
But has Devin Lloyd looked that great this year?
Who drafted him? Jacksonville?
Yes.
Jacksonville's got 3 wins.
Yeah. Jacksonville has Devin Lloyd, Chad Muma, Josh Allen.
Another one I wanted. All 3 of those guys I wanted.
And you're mistaken, Joseph Host. The Patriots punted twice.
yeah. Sorry, but
not gonna lie. I'm kind of jealous of Jacksonville's young linebacker core there. Just saying.
I mean, the year that Josh Allen got drafted, wasn't it 1 pick before us?
Yep.
Bill Belichick beat us. You were just there as a figurehead with your pencil sticking out your ear, fat ass.
Josh Allen got drafted the pick before us, and we took T.J. Hawkinson when Ed Oliver was there, and Sweat and a bunch of other better defensive players were there that we needed. But hey,
Wait, hey, KB.
So the Cowboys are 19th in the league against the run.
Yes, Dan Leonard. Dan Leonard tried to ask me a question.
Was that Matt Patricia in the comments again?
Yes.
He got his revenge game finally, huh?
Yeah.
A game after he ran this franchise into the ground.
Bill beat us, not you, Matt. Absolutely.
I truly get Brad Holmes' concept. Was get the offense 100%. Then, and after that, defense kind of like concept. I do get it because our offense is number one.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore. But anyways, our offense was number one.
We're still in the top 10, though. Even with a shutout, we're still in the top 10 for scoring.
And
Guys,
fundamentally, yes, I agree, because when he took over that roster, there was more pieces on offense than defense.
Guys, I'm going to bounce out, but I'll be right back, okay?
Okay, Dan.
All right, later.
But the thing is, offensive player, and then, pretty much all defense.
We only drafted 2 offensive players.
Yeah, well, we have salary cap happen next year.
Well, your defense should be top 10. It is when you're counting from the bottom up.
Yeah.
So wait. Yeah, all right. Number 2. That's right. I forgot. I literally forgot about Aiden Hutchinson. I was like, wait, who'd we take higher up?
Hutchinson.
Eden, Rodrigo. There you go.
Well, suffice it to say, this coming off season, because we're not going to have a ton of cap room, but we'll have more. We'll have more than we did last year and more than the year before. They have to spend that on defense.
Actually, we'll have quite a bit of cap room.
No, that's in 2024 when we have the most cap room. 2023, right now, we have 18.5 before the salary cap goes up, which it should go up approximately about 20 million after the money from Amazon is dumped in.
I think we have like 46 million cap room next year after.
No. We got to carry over dead cap again. We have 18.5 million before the cap raises.
Yeah. And that still leaves us 46 million because we're going to drop off contract.
It's supposed to only go up by like 20 million. That'd be 38.5.
Oh, so, okay, I was off by 6 million.
No, I'm just saying, I pay attention to that a lot because I like to know what we're working with.
5 million is a lot.
Well, we had, what was it, 32.5 this year? It didn't do a lot.
Couldn't really.
I know.
Because that's where you're in that range where it's like either...
With 2 first-rounders, we're back in that 18 million reserved for rookie contracts.
Right, and if you've got 30... It's basically enough to get like one guy that you'd have
one guy or a
for.
bunch of decent guys.
Right, which is what we did for the last 2 years in a row, which is what you've got to do because we're still trying to fill it. I mean, shit, we're still trying to upgrade starters, let alone fill in depth.
The only advantage would be playing against Dak this Sunday because he hasn't played. Yes, that's absolutely true. And when he did play, he was abysmal. Our top first-round picks should be defensive players. Yes, absolutely, Joseph Host.
Every single pick in the draft, arguably, should be defensive players, other than maybe a running back.
I think Levi could be a star too, but he has to be healthy to prove it. Agreed?
Levi, and I said this a couple weeks ago, and I really hope that I'm wrong, but it's trending in that direction. That dude might not play football ever again.
Well, he just had back surgery. Let's see if he recovers. That's where we're at.
Man, somebody's got to take these Bears away before I die on them.
He already had back problems in college.
I understand, but he never had surgery to fix it.
Idiot.
When are we going to learn with these second-round picks? Because that's crossed over multiple regimes.
The
other thing that I just thought about rather than acquiring a bunch more picks, because that was supposed to be the Rams way and how Brad Holmes was taught. Instead, he moves up and takes 2 guys in the first round.
When we could have had 2 guys in the first round anyways. And who I said should go at 32 did go at 32.
Cine.
And he hasn't looked bad, but he hasn't looked great either.
Right. I mean, it's so hard to tell with the young guys in our back four, because other than for the first couple weeks, we still don't have much of a pass rush.
Yeah, the first couple of weeks we had a decent pass rush. It didn't get to home with Philly because that's a great O-line, and Jalen Hurts is very fast.
Yeah,
we got home against Wentz because he's as immobile as a rock.
Yeah, Philly's
but then the next week, it was funny. The next week on that Monday Night Football game, remember he ran 3 times for over 40 yards. And again for the 8th time tonight, yes, Pascal is playing. We got Comiskey, Pascal, Charles Harris is out, Shark is out, Matt Nelson's out. Ifeatu Melifonwu is out again,
and
there's one other guy.
I'm looking at it right now. Shark, Harris, Melifonwu, Nelson, and Price.
Yep, that's who's out.
Oh, okay, to be fair, you're talking about like last year Lions had.
You're cutting out bad, brother. Like that. Yeah, your last half of that sentence, your lips were moving, but no sound was coming.
I'm sorry. But anyways, last year we had players to resign, which are set always. We either okay, so we spent our cap space to get other players to replace the players that we had wanted. This next year is actually 36 million or 38 million, whatever he said. We actually get players to add on to our team.
How bad does that Romeo Okwara contract look now?
It looks horrible, just like I said it would. Did I not say if he plays 4 games, we'd be lucky? It was the 4th game when he got hurt.
And unfortunately, history repeated itself with Shark.
We knew that would happen. We just didn't think it would happen that early.
One year player. Shark is a one and done.
I was just thinking about that earlier, and I'm like, it was an aberration that 1 year he stayed healthy.
But thankfully, he's a one and done player.
Yep, he is. And at this point, if he doesn't come back, let's say by week 8, healthy and playing, and then plays the rest of the year healthy, there's no way we keep him.
Right.
Exactly. And that's where I'm like, Brad Holmes' job is safe. And Campbell's job safe? I think it is for next year, but
he'll be on a short leash next year.
Which is why you just fire him at the end of the season if he doesn't win at least 6 games.
Oh, look who pops in now. Best name ever. Jim Bob Cooter. I'm better than Ben Johnson and should still be in Detroit. No.
Because I'm tired of this, because we've done it how many times? We have a terrible season, and rather than firing the coach at the end of the season, that way you have the off season to do your head coaching search, they wait until the next year, then they fire him 5 games in. Plus, like I said, hiring Holmes and Campbell independently didn't make a lot of sense. It's hard. It's a difficult situation to to hire a first-time GM and then let him pick a coach.
Right. That is what it was. Because that is what's happened every time it's been a first-year GM and a head coach. The head coach was hired first.
Because this is what it's been for this entire millennium in Detroit. It's first-time head coaches, first-time GMs.
Well, they really should have got him a first-time GM with an experienced head coach.
Oh, you mean like Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah.
No.
You know exactly where I'm going with that. Yeah, you can say all you want, but you know what?
Is there any chance that Jim Harbaugh does the impossible? And I will root for the fuck out of y'all if you make the playoffs. Is there any chance he wins the whole fucking thing and he's like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to go coach the Lions?
No, because he actually there's a clause he has to stay his contract.
For how long?
Yeah, that's one of the things. He had to sign an ironclad contract that he was staying to get the extension for the money he wanted.
Yeah, get out.
And his wife did want
I thought he took a. Oh, well, wait. Like 2 years ago, he took a pay cut, and then, like this past offseason, they gave him a bunch of money.
The reason why they gave him a bunch of money was because of Mel Tucker.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I think Michigan might be for real.
I know. The defense doesn't look as bad as everybody predicted it would be. It's actually looked pretty legit.
Mazzy Smith and they're.
Hey, let's say they get 5 wins, right? So they're still picking at the back end of the top 10, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like just outside of the top 5.
Actually, it could be higher than that based on tiebreakers.
Right. It could be higher, and it could the coin flip and all that shit that they do. Let's say they take Mazzy Smith or Will Anderson Jr., whoever's available at that point.
Yeah, you got to go defense.
Right. Those are both defense. Mazzy Smith would be the defensive tackle that could be dominant like he's been at Michigan.
Yeah. Mazzy
Very athletic.
Round. 4th round right now.
No more Michigan players.
And the only reason I just like the way he's playing the game, it has nothing to do with him being from Michigan. I'm saying from watching the games, Dom.
Next, you're going to tell me Blake Corum.
No.
Blake Corum, actually, I would.
Why?
I don't like the trend of Michigan running backs in the NFL.
Yeah, but that kid is different than any running back. I've been following U of M since.
No, he's not.
Fire me and I will release Bobby Lane Curtis Part 2.
He's fucking Mike Hart.
Wait a second.
Nah, he's way faster than Mike Hart was.
Yeah, he's way faster.
So
Mike
that's
Hart,
slow.
Mike Hart was closer to what Hassan Haskins was last year.
Exactly, and Hassan Haskins. Hassan Haskins isn't gonna do shit in the NFL.
You know what I realize it is, Eric? It's every time you get loud, your mic cuts out.
Motherfucker. He kind of reminds me, and bear with me. He kind of reminds me. And he actually can basically stop on a dime and screw people up. If you actually watch Michigan football and actually watch Blake Corum's videos, people basically damn near break their legs when he cuts.
He's 5'8" and 209.
Barry Sanders was 5'9", 210.
Whoa! I know you just didn't compare Blake Corum to Barry Sanders just based on size.
Wow.
Barry Sanders was 5'6", 5'4", 5'6" with the afro.
No, actually, Barry Sanders. Go back, look, Google it, and then when you're done Googling it, thank you.
If it says anything more than 5'8", it's a lie. And in reality, he was 5'7".
5'7", and I stood next to Barry
Okay.
Sanders.
Our first-time GM should have been hired is the guy to lead the Lions. The Lions hired the head coach first. That was a mistake. I'm going to tell you right now that in the last 30 years, and it's worked more often than not, Mike Tomlin was hired before that GM. There's been quite a few head coaches that are first-time head coaches that were hired first because of first-time GMs.
Yeah, wasn't Mike Tomlin a long-time assistant with them, though?
Special team. No, he was special teams with Minnesota.
Gotcha.
I don't even think that. I think he came right from Memphis.
No, he was at Minnesota as special teams coach the year before he was hired by the Steelers, or at least 2 years. Dan Campbell says, guys, I really think we win Sunday. Guys are locked in. You know what? I've heard that before. I want to see it on the field.
They better fucking win. I need the Cowboys to take the L.
I know you do because you're in their division. And we need to win because I don't think the Bears win this week. And I think Green Bay struggles with Washington because Tyler Heineke's playing because Wentz is hurt.
Yep.
Green Bay struggles with everybody. I don't even know why anybody thinks Green Bay's.
No, the team to beat right now is Minnesota.
If Green Bay
goes and gets a wide receiver, they may be legit.
Two wide receivers.
Chase Claypool is the rumor.
That would actually be nice because I have him in a fantasy league, and he finally started getting damn points.
Green Bay is.
You would think that, and it sounds good on paper, but like even if by some magical reason Aaron Rodgers did decide to trust him, they have no chemistry.
Well, I give us a puncher's chance at least covering, seeing how Vegas has us as a 7-point underdog against Dallas.
We're still the best team in the NFL over the last 3 years covering the spread.
Yep.
And guess what else?
What?
2-15 is a real possibility.
I know it is. It is.
You guys don't want to come to New York. I can tell you that.
I mean, listen, in all reality, we probably lose to the Cowboys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll go with that.
The Dolphins are better than us unless Tua gets hurt again.
Yep. Which is
the Packers, even though I said we'd win that game.
In the in the past 30 years, how many teams hired a first-year head coach and a first-year GM? There has been 20.
Yeah, they've all sucked.
Not all of them.
I said except for one I could think of. That was in Pittsburgh.
Elijah Moore wants to trade now, too?
Yeah, Elijah Moore asked for a trade last week.
Well done.
There you go. Go for that one, Dan.
Can we just straight up trade him for Kadarius Toney?
I doubt it.
Let's give him Kenny Galladay, too.
I doubt it.
The problem is the shit rolls downhill.
Correct.
Like, okay, you've got Sheila now, and she at least cares.
Yep.
But what does she know about being an owner?
Not as much as Jerry Jones.
No, I think she knows more than Jerry Jones because Jerry Jones looks abysmal as being owner and GM.
Yes, but you know what he does that she doesn't? He is very visual, and you know he cares about that damn team.
Yep.
Yeah,
that being said,
Jerry Jones thing here in a minute. I got some inside shit on the old Jerry Jones.
Well, I don't like talking that type of stuff on here, but I want to go ahead and give the shout out to the sponsors.
We'll do that in the after.
Yep. A1 Tire and Auto Repair, 3 locations to serve you. We have the Clecolan store on Old Clecolan. We have the Bay City store on Broadway and the Saginaw store on Genesee, where I work. Great used tires at great prices and great prices on new tires as well. Come on in for great service also. And Mad Lab Custom Creations, great place to go in and get your signed memorabilia, like your full size or mini helmets with custom paint jobs. Also, a great place to pick up great sports memorabilia through breaks that Dan Leonard has himself.
And you all missed out on that Hutchinson salute to service today.
Yeah, because it was done while I was at work.
Jerry Jones is gonna get his wish.
I didn't even see it till you were an hour in.
Dude, I got the inside from my one last source, Jerry Jones, Dan Leonard stuff. Oh, it's hot.
Well, I haven't done. We're not done yet, so please stop.
Oh, I'm so intrigued now.
That being said, this has been Kneecap Biting with Smokin Jeremy V. I'd like to thank my guests, Big Dan Davis, Eric Sean, Dan Leonard, and Dom DeRubis for coming in. Dom DeRubis is part of Sideline Sports. Dan Leonard, well, as you know, he owns Mad Lab Custom Creations. That's his baby. He's making it happen. And I am Smokin Jeremy B. What's your final thoughts tonight, Eric?
Yes.
Actually thinking that the Lions are at least going to cover the spread. Sheila is definitely got Dan on the hot seat. And I think Aaron Glenn is not going to
I know. And that is why he did not make any football decisions. He is there to do promotions. We're getting ready to sign out, Dan, in just a moment. I just got Eric's final thoughts. Dom, what's your final thoughts?
Jerry Jones is going to get his wish because a couple weeks ago he said, I love a quarterback controversy. Well, you're going to have one when Dak comes back and poops the bed against the Lions.
I like that prediction. Dan Davis, what's your final thoughts tonight?
If the defense can get better and our offense scores 35-40, I think we have a chance Sunday.
I don't think it'll take that much, but that's funny.
Right?
Mr. Leonard?
I'm telling you, we have a chance if we do that.
I know. What's your final thoughts?
I have two final thoughts tonight. Final thought number one. Those gummy peach rings are great until you eat a half a pound of them. Then they make you sick. And my last final thought, fuck Geno.
Let him talk.
That was it. It was just fuck Geno Smith.
Oh, okay. Well, mine is I'm actually not doing a live stream on Sunday because Herman Moore is going to be 45 minutes away at Soaring Eagle Casino, and I'm going to meet him.
Awesome. Congrats, Jeremy.
Will you ask him a question for me?
What's that?
Ask him if he knows for sure that Marcus Colston isn't his son. Marcus Colston from wide receiver U, Hofstra.
Hey, just came on. I think the Lions win. NFL is hard to predict. You're absolutely right. But in the last 2 weeks, I have only picked 4 wrong winners each week. I went 12-4 2 weeks ago, and I went 10-4 last week.
Which is crazy because literally 70% of the league is like 3-3.
Yeah, which means the Lions are not out because nobody's running away with anything in any division.
The other day it said NFC playoff picture, and we were like second from the bottom, but they had us in the hunt.
Right. I mean, in the hunt is there except for the Raiders.
Yeah.
And the Broncos are still going to finish last in that division.
My final thought is, like I said, I'm going to Soaring Eagle to the sports bar because that's where Herman Moore will be doing his LNU podcast. I'm going to introduce myself before they start, and hopefully he goes, hey, come on and have a seat. Because I would love to be on a part of a podcast with him. That being said, my other final thought is the same one I have every show. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before, because that's the only way to make the world a bit better place. This has been Kneecap Biting with Smokin Jeremy B. And from all of my guests to y'all at home watching, thank you for tuning in. Have a great night. Dan, say it now.